Hello, I'm Joe, and here we go for another Joe Go review. The bow tie today is my zombie businessman bow tie, because today we're going to talk about a business that's trying to come back from the dead, and that is Toys R Us. A new Toys R Us store has opened up by me, so we're going to see if this new Toys R Us is a Joe Go or a no-go. Now, about a year ago, I did a video on the very first standalone Toys R Us to reopen in the US since their 2018 bankruptcy. You can watch that video on my channel, and I gotta say I was very underwhelmed by this new incarnation of Toys R Us. It felt just like the Macy's Toys R Us stores, but without the Macy's around it. It had all the nostalgia and branding of a Toys R Us, but none of the fun and magic of a true Toys R Us. Now, this Toys R Us was just a Toys R Us in a mall, not really a standalone Toys R Us as we remember, but hey, at least Toys R Us was trying to make a comeback. And just this month I heard that a new Toys R Us store had opened up in a mall near me. So I thought, okay, great, this will be very similar to the Chicago area Toys R Us that I had checked out, but let's go to this new Toys R Us and check in on the progress of the Toys R Us comeback. Well, I'm here to report, send it back! Put this zombie business out of its misery! I was shocked to see that this Toys R Us by me was nothing like the Toys R Us I had gone to in Chicago. This store was blasphemous to the Toys R Us branding. My video doesn't capture just how dark it was in that store. Meanwhile, next door, you had the bright lights of Pop Mart and Bath and Body Works shining, but it looked like Toys R Us was short on its electric bill. Not very inviting. This was not the bright Toys R Us 2.0 I was expecting. The whole store looked like a mall toy store had stolen all the Toys R Us branding from a nearby Macy's and was using it to slap together their own makeshift Toys R Us. I'm telling you, this store looked more temporary than a Spirit Halloween. And I'm willing to overlook a lot of shabbiness if you've got toys galore. But they didn't have very much at all. It was dark, dreary, and with loads of empty space. They had more calendars than they had toys. It looked as though that pop-up calendar store, Go Calendars, Games, and Toys, moved into the space, threw up a bunch of Jeffrey the Giraffe decals, turned the lights off, and opened up for business. And it turns out, that's pretty close to what happened. This zombie Toys R Us is operated by the Go Retail Group, the same company that operates those calendar kiosks in malls. And I'm discovering that even the better looking Toys R Us in Chicago is also operated by Go Retail Group. Toys R Us isn't back. They're just licensing their look to the Go Retail Group. If this is the future of the Toys R Us comeback, it won't be back for very much longer. It'll be back in the grave before the new Jeffrey has time for a smoke break. Toys R Us, if you want to make a comeback, this is not the way to do it. This temporary holiday shop that's at my local mall will not reconnect families to the joy of Toys R Us. It will reconnect them to the joy of online shopping. At least there they can see the product. It was so dark in that store. The Go Retail Group's website says they are bringing the Toys R Us magic back to families. There's no magic there. The only magic I saw was another disappearing act for Toys R Us. Now, the better retail comeback that Toys R Us ought to copy is that of Barnes & Noble. And you would have thought that Barnes & Noble at this point would have gone the way of the Dodo or Borders Books. But no, Barnes & Noble is thriving. They're one of the few major retail chains that's actually opening stores instead of closing them. It's been a huge turnaround for this chain, led by new management that's allowing each location to operate like an independent bookstore. And their new store setups are phenomenal. Their new store layouts let you literally get lost in books. With their top to bottom merchandising, it creates a labyrinth of literature offerings and more. You can turn a corner and end up in a cozy cul-de-sac, or turn a corner and it opens up to more corridors and collectibles. This is an immersive shopping experience. I want this, but with toys, the way that Toys R Us used to be. You can't get lost in this Toys R Us. You had a grand opening for this? It looks like the store is closing. This new Toys R Us is a no-go. Matter of fact, all new Toys R Us's are a no-go. Come at me, Go Retail Group. You need to go back to the boardroom and figure out a better way to live up to the legacy of Toys R Us. In the meantime, I encourage you all to support a local toy store by you, Google Specialty Toy Store by me, and make sure that the endangered toy store survives for the next generation. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and a big thank you to those that have already subscribed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.